So, all righty. Well, let's see. I know we still have more coming on, but it is 1 o'clock, so Eastern time. Leah, it's still dark 30 out there in Colorado?
No, it's not dark 30. It's 11 a.m. It's dark 30 for me.
So welcome back, everyone. This is part 8, Selling in a Time of Uncertainty, Improving Realtor Relationships for the Long Haul. And we are, of course, missing our fearless leader, Kellyanne Zuccarelli from Wells Fargo. She, when you work for a company that size, sometimes you have conflicts that just cannot be changed. So we understand that. So she's leaving it to us. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a fox watching the hen house or something. But we're going to attempt to endeavor without her today. But we do have a special guest, so I think you're going to be really excited to meet Mr. Ben Marks. So Ben is the president of Melinda Brody and Company, and they, of course, are improving sales performance through mystery shops. So welcome, Ben. So I don't know if anybody can see you if you don't talk, but.
Thanks for having me.
And then, of course, we have back Carol Morgan. She needs no introduction, but let's see here. Carol Morgan is the founder and president of Denim Marketing, a woman-owned agency specializing in strategic marketing, media relations, blogging, social media promotions, advertising, and much more. She's the past NAHB PWB chair and past membership chair, and she's the current second vice chair of Associates.
Good morning, everyone.
Before I go on, I should actually give Ben his formal introduction. I'm so sorry, Ben. See, this is what happens when we don't have Kelly. You leave things to me and stuff just immediately goes off the rails. So Ben Marks joined Melinda Brody and Company in 2016, bringing over 20 years of experience working with a variety of sales and marketing teams, residential contractors, and design groups. Passionate about inspiring others to develop their innate potential, Ben is recognized by his peers as a strong, empowering, and compassionate leader. He is an enthusiastic team builder with an outstanding interpersonal capability and excellent communication skills. At Melinda Brody and Company, Ben is focused on developing the client base and ensuring the highest level of customer service. Ooh, that's a lot. So, and then, of course, she also needs no introduction. We have Leah Fellows. So, and Leah is a national online sales counselor trainer for the building industry and is the founder and owner of Blue Gypsy Inc. She's been working in the building industry for 14 years, and before that, she spent 13 years traveling around the world as a sailboat captain, dive instructor, sorry Leah, can't talk, and backpacker. With her unique life experience, she brings energy and insights into all her speaking and training engagements. And then, of course, last but not least, I'm just kidding. It's me, Kimberly Mackey, and I am a sales and marketing management consultant. I work for builders, developers, and large brokerages all around the U.S. and Canada. I like to say that I'm the person who causes sales to be the engine that drives the train rather than running it off the tracks. So I am also the vice chair of the National Sales and Marketing Council. I'm the past president of the Florida Sales and Marketing Council. I'm the chair of the NAHB Associates Leadership and Recognition Committee, and I serve on the FHBA Board of Directors as well as NAHB's Leadership Council. So with all of that, that's a mouthful for all of us. Without further ado, let's move on here this morning. So Carol, thoughts about how we need to activate our outside sales force, AKA our realtors?
Well, absolutely. You know, it's kind of an interesting question. I think with the internet, a decade or two ago when it came on, everyone thought, oh, all sales are going to go online. This is going to be the end of the outside realtor. And then I think people have kind of thought that again with all of, the online buying, all the iBuyer platforms. but it just hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. So it's really important to engage those, co-op and outside realtors and get them to help you sell your houses, because ultimately it's the biggest sale anyone's going to make, and they are going to bring a realtor in when they come to buy your homes. So we'll talk some more about how we can market to them. And I know we've got some folks from Tamara Wade on here, so they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in Atlanta, which is, still one of the top 10 sales markets in the US, I think 78 to 85% of our sales here happen with, a co-broke. So it's important to have a plan to reach out to those folks.
Leah, how about your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a great question, and it really is important to engage with and create those relationships with our outside sales force. According to the National Association of Realtors, last year, 89% of home buyers purchased their homes through real estate agents, and 52% of home buyers said they wanted an agent to help them find the right home. So as builders, we need to honor those connections. And an article that I saw recently that was really important to me, and also a little stunning, was that one of the national builders is now making it easier for realtors to register their clients ahead of time before a tour. And this is something that I'll get into later, but it's something I've been preaching for over a decade, that we need to register our realtor partners with their prospects, so that we can create those relationships and let them know we're honoring that. So
I couldn't agree more. And it's, to me, your realtors, you're out. And of course, when we're talking about realtors today, we're talking about outside realtors. We're talking about co-broker relationships. But that's your leverage right there. I mean, realtors have the buyers. They have the reload programs. They are, the one thing you can say about outside realtors, they're very good at generating leads. So, and we'll talk more about how to help them to generate sales for you. But if they have the leads, why wouldn't you leverage their marketing efforts? Because they spend so much money marketing to attract buyers, and they're the same buyers that you need. So you just have to work with them. You have to train them on how to sell new, because I got to tell you guys, I work on both sides. I work with brokerages as well as with builders. And the thing that I hear from the brokerage side is they're scared of working with us. They're scared of losing power. They're scared of looking like an idiot, because we have a lot of things that we do that are so different, and it's unknown to them. So today, hopefully we can talk about that and help to demystify that. And I'd love for Tamara's team to chime in on our chat, or anybody else. So as always, we encourage a very active chat with us today. And ask your questions, share your best practices. We just, this is all about helping all of us to navigate through what's going on in our world today and come out on this better than the way we went in. Anybody else have any final thoughts on this slide? Ben? No? All right, we're good. All right, we're moving on then. Carol.
All right, so email marketing, whether it's that new community, your VIP interest list for a community you're getting ready to launch, videos, virtual tours, new phases, whatever you can do to keep realtors in the know, they're going to appreciate that. And then offering them some sort of program. And I think one of the things we do a ton of in Atlanta that actually did not find or didn't take time to find a slide for is lots of CE classes. A lot of our builders offer CE classes to the realtors. So you come out, you have lunch, you do the CE class, you get your credit for free. And that's something the realtors really appreciate, but it gives them the chance to see that model home and get to know that builder. So, as we're going through this today, I'd love to know what some of your recommendations are and some of the things that you see work in other parts of the country. But that's something that works really well for us here in Atlanta. And then I've shown a couple of photos here, images here of e-flyers that show programs and campaigns that different builders are doing. So one is Highland Homes, and they have a bonus program that's based on net sales during the calendar year with a $10,000 bonus that goes to the top selling realtor partner for the year. They started this in 2014, so you can see how successful it's been. They're still doing it now in 2020. That flyer's attached. They market this via e-blasts. It's also on their website behind a login wall. So realtors can get a login and log in to get information just for them on the Highland Homes website. And then they do flyers in the model centers and at realtor presentations. So, and that's the bulk of what they do. They don't do any special programs or special incentives outside of this one big program for realtors. So they don't offer anything, extra on a specific house. And that's a little different because the other one on here is, Trayton Homes, and they're kind of doing the same thing. They're offering a really neat relocation package. So if you're relocating, you get a 4% commission if you're the selling broker. And then they're also offering all sorts of incentives for that second sale, that third sale. And that's been very successful for them. Another builder that's actually in Atlanta, Highland Homes is in Florida, Trayton's here in Atlanta, and the Providence Group here in Atlanta. They do realtor bonuses at their communities, kind of as needed. Right now, the highest one they're offering, I think, is about $3,000. But we also see some of the national builders in Atlanta offering huge bonuses for sales in this market. So that's kind of just interesting to see what different people do, and you've got to do what works for you in your market. So Kimberly, if you want to move to the next slide. Another thing we've seen work really well is social media, and using social media to invite them to sign up for priority list and invite them to actively partner with you. So I thought this was fun and this is interesting. This is Kuiper Homes, and they're located in California, and they promote their sign up VIP realtor list on their social media. And it's real easy to see which one of these posts was boosted and which one of these posts was not. So it shows you how much more reach you can get just for, a $25 or even $50 boost. And they did want it boosted for engagement, on Facebook versus it could have been boosted as a web click that would go to their site and drive those people right to that form. But I like seeing stuff like this too. And I guess I'm curious, I have a question for all of you guys, because we got asked this week, and some people have policies one way or the other, but do you post realtor bonuses on your social media sites? And then why or why not? I tend to post things like this, here's where you go to find out more, sign up for our VIP list so that we're sending it direct to them. To me, there's so many more consumers on the social sites. I don't want to inundate them with the broker's bonuses. And it may make that buyer feel like, well, why aren't they giving me some of that bonus? But I'd love to know if anyone has a differing opinion or has a way to do it that it works for them.
Carol, it's interesting. I actually saw a national builder post on their social site that they were giving the realtor incentives. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting because it isn't something that we see very often. And I'm always very cautious with the program that I run here locally for Berkshire Hathaway to not post those bonuses on the social site. We do that in our private group as well as with a private email that goes out to all of our agents in our offices.
Right. I think that makes sense because I've heard of so many times the consumer will be like, oh, well, you're getting a $10,000 bonus. Are you going to give me a discount on my, commission? And I don't know that anyone wants to put the realtors in that position. So that's why we don't typically promote the specific bonuses like that. We just, email them and market them one-on-one.
Yeah, I think it opens up a whole can of worms. And obviously, it has to be disclosed. So there's no secret to what the broker is getting paid. It's just it's when is that brought out? I think if it's brought out up front versus once they found the home that they love, I think that's kind of two different things there. One of the things to tag on to what Carol said that I wanted to talk about is having a realtor of the week or a realtor of the month on your social media. You can tag that realtor's page too. So I think anytime you can create a win-win, that's going to be huge for your buyers. And for your realtors, because they're getting to promote themselves. They're seen and they get the credibility, the street cred, if you will, of being recognized on your site. So that can really go a long way to help build your realtor relations through your social media. I also think it's important. I like to reward right behavior. So if you have a realtor who comes out to show a home and they're okay with having their photo made, take a picture of them and take a picture of them in front of your sign and put that on your Facebook page again and tag them. When they write a sale, you know, and take a picture of the sold, putting the sold sign on the home site. I think that's a you know, include the realtor as well as the buyer, of course, with proper disclosure, so everybody's okay that we're sharing their photos. Never just ask them verbally. You definitely need those disclosures signed. And then at the closing, you know, when we hand over the keys, or right in front of the home when they're doing a ribbon cutting, or whatever you do for that. That I think really goes a long way to doing realtor outreach, because when you reward those realtors by giving them that kind of exposure, then they're going to want to do business with you. They're going to want to come back. So you will create VIPs simply by doing that. Leah, I know you wanted to talk about building relationships.
Yeah, so you know, it's funny, back when I began as an online sales counselor in 2007, it's kind of like what Kimberly was saying, since she works directly with brokerages, there's not always a great relationship and there's not a lot of trust. I'd hear from various real estate agents, you know, that in the past they were cut out of deals, that their clients were told they would get a better deal if they weren't going to use an agent. And, you know, the thing is that news travels fast amongst realtors. And so it's in a builder's best interest to adopt the best relationship policies they can with the realtor community at large. And when one builder's doing it, it can also affect and taint the view of other builders, even if they're not doing it. So you have to work that much harder to create those relationships. And I sort of thought that was all in the past, but sadly, you know, just even talking to a realtor recently, I heard that again, and they feel like it's only in the down times that that builders are reaching out to them, and that when things are booming, that sort of goes away. So some of these things we're talking about, some of these incentives and things. And so I always challenge online sales counselors to build that realtor trust and to be that realtor relationship builder, just like they build relationships with prospects. They need to do the same thing. And kind of back to those statistics I was talking about at the beginning, not only are 89% of home buyers purchasing through real estate agents, only 5% purchase directly from a builder. So we definitely need to tap into those numbers and work with that. So the main thing that I talk about with online sales counselors and how to build those relationships is to make sure that they're pre-registering, and we're going to get into this a little bit more, but pre-registering buyers with agents. And there's two ways that you can do that. One is as you're starting a conversation with a new prospect, at some point in that conversation, finding out if they're working with an agent before you ever set that appointment. And like I said, it's great to see that some national builders are adopting these programs if they didn't have it before, but I've always believed that you should honor that relationship and register them together, right? And it's really powerful when you hear from a client, a prospect, who they're working with, and really emphasize the importance of, it's very important for me to let our community expert know you're already working with a realtor. So please, you know, give me that information so I can pass that on along with your appointment. And then on the flip side, when realtors are calling in and talking to an online sales counselor about, you know, current offerings and stuff, asking that realtor if they're working with a buyer. And, you know, realtors are very close. They hold their contacts and their clients close because they're afraid of past issues. But if you reassure them and tell them, look, my goal is to put you together with your client and make sure that we have that information correct. So if they go out without you, you won't lose out on that. And so creating that bond and letting the realtors know that that's what you as an online sales counselor are there to do, is to help make sure they stay together with their client. And I mean, 70% of people will come through the website in one way, shape, or form before they go out to a community. And more so now with obviously our current climate, right? We're seeing 90% or more coming through the website. So it's very important now more so than ever before to identify those realtor relationships. So make sure that you have a way to create that. And I know later on, a couple slides down, we're going to talk more about a formal way to do that. But I'd like to slide into how OSCs can further create strong relationships by talking about Realtor VIP programs, which is our next slide. It really plays into all the stuff that Carol was just talking about and offering those bonus structures and those things. When I started as an OSC, I was fortunate enough to take over a Realtor Rewards program. And it really wasn't something that was offered in a lot of places. And I was told that by the realtors back in 2007. There weren't a lot of Realtor Rewards and VIP programs out there. So I cultivated that. And I encourage online sales counselors to cultivate these VIP programs, be involved in it, know what the marketing is going out. And also an OSC is very well positioned because of their CRM management and because of there being that face of the website to create events, you know, like lunch and learns for builders, like, you know, new tours of new communities. Create those events, work with marketing to do that and get that out there, and have a follow-up process that goes along with the actual pretty flyers, because we would send out the event invites, but if I wasn't going behind as an online sales counselor and calling all of those realtors or texting them or both, you know, just to see, are you coming? They were much more likely to come if I would call them than if they just simply got the email invitation. And that also gave me the opportunity as an online sales counselor to build that relationship with either new co-brokes or current ones that already knew who I was, and to let them know, hey, when you have clients, I'm here to help give you the latest information on everything our builder is offering. So those VIP programs are really important, and they give, that's kind of the, you know, an online sales counselor is B2C most of the time, but that's the B2B relationship that they can create as well by managing and associating themselves with that VIP or agent rewards program. So I know, Kimberly, you have a lot on this as well and how to kind of track that. So I'm going to hand that over to you.
Yes, and for those who may not be familiar with the terms B2B or B2C who are on, do you want to explain that one for them?
Well, a B2C is a business to client. So obviously builder to client relationship is all of those leads that come in for an online sales counselor that they're trying to set appointments with. But B2B is obviously business to business relationship. And you are, as a builder, you're a business, and agents are a business too. And you need to treat them like that and give them the courtesy of those of that recognition, because like Carol said, they're generating, and Kimberly said, they're generating a lot of leads and putting a lot of information in. So by treating everybody as a professional in the industry and honoring that, you're really creating that nice B2B or business to business relationship.
Thank you. Thank you. So this slide is a lot to take in. I get that. I just wanted to share it with you. And if anybody wants a copy of this slide, I am happy or this program, I'm happy to send it to you. This is kind of my generic template whenever I start working with my builders to create that VIP program. So whether they have an online sales counselor or they're relying on their marketing and their sales teams, you know, we tweak it. So absolutely. So you guys can email me. Carol, would you mind typing in my email address? Because I know if I start trying to type and talk at the same time, bad things will happen. So thank you. So the realtor previews, I like to reward the right behavior. Realtor previews of a property with a buyer and coming out and taking a tour with their client. They write purchase agreements. They have a closing and a settlement. We want all the way through this process. We want to reward them at different levels, but we must be consistent. And that's the thing that a lot of builders, particularly smaller builders, leave up to their on-site sales team to take care of. So they're like, well, Kimberly, just go out and you build your own realtor relationship. So I might go out and create a program that looks a lot like this, and then somebody across town who's also representing the builder just does something completely different. None of that is helping to support your brand and build your brand.
Oh no, did Kimberly freeze for anybody else, or is it just me? I'm hoping you can.
He's frozen for me too.
Okay, well, hopefully she will.
I know we have Larry on here from Sunrise Homes. So you talk about the Sunrise Homes. Did I freeze?
You did, but you're back now. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. I notification that I froze. Ah! So always fun. Where did I freeze, Leah? Where do I need to go back?
Right before you were talking about Larry, just like a minute or so. Carol, do you know the exact point at which she froze?
So the brand, I was talking about branding right before I said
Branding.
Larry. So
Talk about branding. Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah. So for Larry, if he's got one of his salespeople over in one part of New Orleans who is doing one thing, and one in another part who's doing something completely different, the realtors are going to talk about that, and they're going to go, well, hey, why did you get this, and why didn't I get that? They are a very close-knit group. So it's very important that you maintain that consistency. And that's why I think it's important to have a plan. What happens at each stage? So for realtor previews, for instance, I think everybody should get a snail mail, handwritten thank you note. Crazy as it is, we don't get a whole lot of handwritten thank you notes. So that goes a long way, and people, they do notice it. So if they take a tour with the on-site agent and they bring their buyers out, maybe you might consider having your on-site person go to the grocery store, pick up the little $10 arrangement of flowers, of course, once we're able to go back into real estate offices, and hand deliver those flowers. So it's because flowers will, and the reason I choose flowers is flowers will stay on somebody's desk. And as people come by the desk, again, once we're able to go back in, people go, oh, who sent you flowers? And now it's a whole discussion point. So they're sharing with all of their colleagues how you were the one who sent them the flowers, and so on and so forth. And including, you know, maybe having a big bash or some sort of realtor VIP event at the end of the year. So if you don't want to do bonuses, you could have them earn points. And with those points, then at the end of the year, that puts them in the running for some really big prizes, or you could have a casino night, or just any sort of event after that. So you'll see that I have all of this kind of outlined. And of course, once the goal here is to create realtors who come back again and again. These are your repeat buyers. So we want to roll out that red carpet for them. And we want them to come back, because once you've trained them and you've gone to all the effort of training these realtors and they had a great experience with you, well, why you don't want to deal with realtors, you know, from coming from somewhere else who's never dealt with you before, and they have that butting heads kind of mentality. I'd much rather deal with them with a friendly realtor and have it be a positive experience for everybody all the way around. So anybody who wants this, just reach out to me. I will be happy to send it to you. And again, it's just kind of a generic template there. If you want better realtors, train them. This may seem a little self-serving here, because I do this a lot, not only for Berkshire Hathaway. Last week, because of COVID, one of the reasons we weren't available to do a webinar last week is because I had 50 agents in a certified new home specialist training for Berkshire Hathaway. Normally I do that out on site, but guys, I was able to convert that whole program to an online training program. I got to tell you, 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, it's a very intensive program. At the end of it, I was exhausted. But this group was so phenomenal, and they loved it and they appreciated it. And they did things like taking turns being on camera with me over Zoom, so that I didn't feel like I was alone and just talking to my computer. They even would turn their mics on and laugh at my jokes. So, hey, that was a win for me. They tried to make it not such a lonely experience, but they're still writing me and thanking me and telling me about their aha moments, or how they got to apply that and have more of an abundance mentality in dealing with builders and beyond. And it was really very rewarding. And I have to tell you, I went into it a little nervous because one of the benefits of this training is that we do get them out into our preferred builders model centers dealing with and meeting on-site agents and learning that on-site agents are not scary and that they do want to partner with them, not take their clients away. So on-sites and builders, the thing that I can encourage you the most here is when you talk to outside agents, talk to them. Did I freeze again?
No.
No? Okay, good. I just got a notice. So I'm like, oh no. So talk to them like they are your partners and that you want to work together and that together we're going to do this. Don't say things like, you know, it's the easiest sale you'll ever make. Just drop them off at the curb and we'll take care of everything else. That is the way to have them running for the hills. They do not want to hear you say things like that. I know you mean well by it, but no, definitely not. So, and training your realtors how to work with you throughout the process. This was a Muddy Boots tour. We actually trained these realtors how to participate in a frame walk. Imagine that. Imagine your superintendents not being scared of the realtor being there, but in fact embracing having them there because they know how they can support the process, that they are the keeper of the notes, that they've got the list of the options so we can readily look for those and point those out, that they're taking pictures of what's behind the wall so that there's documentation and the buyer can really focus on the superintendent instead of trying to take notes and do all of those things. And of course, I always encourage my realtors to show up with a tape measure because it'll make them look cool. Not that the superintendents don't have it, but it's really cool to just show up prepared and have that tape measure. So train your realtors and you will be amazed at the rewards that you get back because you're going to be working with educated realtors who know how to not disrupt the process. When my group graduates from this training, they don't do the, oh, wait, no, I know the buyer loves this home, but we've got 3 more appointments. We got to keep moving on. They no longer do that. And that's what you can accomplish. And you can really have a true partnership with your VIPs. This is not new math, people. Not new math. 25 times 2 equals 50. Yes, absolutely, Barbara. Thank you very much. So 25 times 2 equals 50 is the number of agents that every on-site person that you have should be working with, not thousands. 25 realtors who are going to bring you 2 deals a year equals 50 sales before any walk-in traffic. Let that one sink in for a minute. My realtor VIPs to this day, from when I was in on-site sales several years ago, we won't say how long it was, I can call them. I can be out in one of my builder sites and go, hey, there's this great home, and I can tell the story of the home to this realtor and say, who do you have? Who are you working with that would love this home? And generally, I can get them out there and get them to sell that home because I can tell the story to them. I call them up and I can just say, hey, it's Kimberly. I don't have to say Kimberly Mackey. I don't have to say who I'm with. I've got that kind of relationship with my realtor VIPs. I still go to lunches with my VIPs. I still go to Christmas parties with them. These are people that I see out in the community and, you know, and just love working with them because we did so many deals together and we just had a great shorthand back in the day. That's what a true realtor VIP is. That's what happens for your on-site team. And again, you can't cultivate that kind of depth of relationship with thousands of realtors that you're e-blasting. Stop e-blasting them everything. It's great to get information out, but then you got to follow it up and it's got to be one-on-one, and that has to be manageable. And that's where that number of 25, any on-site agent should be able to cultivate relationships with 25 realtors and make them their VIPs. So I just think that's so important. Circling back to the broker registration form, I do want to go over this. This is a form that I use with my builders. Setting expectations in advance of what you will do for your brokers will solve so many problems, just like when you set expectations in advance with your customers and they know what to expect. So if you have an OSC, you can use this form when the realtor calls in and they're asking for information about the communities, and when Leah's team is reaching out and scheduling with your on-site agents for them. She can, or her team can, send this email over to the builder or to the realtor and say, fill this out for your buyer so that we can protect your commission. We know that buyers sometimes get away from you, but by having this information and having that buyer attached to you, then you don't have to worry. And I can make sure that all of our on-site agents get this information. Now, if you don't have an OSC, salespeople, I did this for one of my builders in Pensacola, Flynn Built Homes. We did this, we had about 70% of our sales coming through outside brokers. And because they were scatter site, they didn't actually have any communities in this one area of Navarre. A lot of times they were just going out and they were taking them using the lockbox. So a lot of times we wouldn't even know we had a prospect until the end. And I'm like, whoa, this is way backwards. How can you have a business and not know who your prospects are? We've got to do this differently. So we pulled back and we set up a system. And part of that system was attaching this form in the MLS and telling brokers that their commission was tied to filling out this form and registering in advance and scheduling appointments with us. So it was absolutely incredible to be able to do that and turn things around. In doing so, we actually strengthened the relationship with the realtors in the community, because now we got an opportunity to work with them face to face, and we converted more sales. So our sales went up. Everybody said, oh no, the realtors will be so offended if we do this. And actually our sales increased as a result of it. It took some education, it took some work. It wasn't a straight line up for sure, but it did work, and it's still working to this day. So Michelle asked if there are restrictions on gifting to realtors. Yes, there are. That's why I suggest a $10 thing of the flowers, right? So not the big gifts. Doing realtor bonus though, and realtor rewards going through the builder's license rather than the realtor. And again, in your state, you've got to double check. You've got to check the rules in every state. But if you have a VIP program and it is disclosed that it's a VIP program, so that none of this stuff is under the table or on the side. So, and Michelle, if you want more specifics, because we could really get into a whole lot of legal stuff there, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll definitely go into more depending on where you are. Where are you, by the way, Michelle? I'll wait on her to do that. Michigan, okay, yeah, Michigan has some very interesting rules on that. So yeah, we should definitely talk offline and figure out what is possible for you, for sure. So did I miss anything on questions there? I don't think I did. But we're going to take a hard turn here and welcome our special guest, Ben Marks, who is going to be talking to us about the value of mystery shopping and how they've transitioned to actually be able to do some virtual shops to be able to help sales teams too. So Ben, take it away.
Thanks for having me as your special guest today. Hi, I'm Ben Marks with Melinda Brody & Company. And again, thank you for having me. For those unfamiliar with new home mystery shopping, basically a shopper wearing a hidden camera visits a new home community as a prospective buyer and records the entire sales presentation. New home mystery shops, especially the recorded shops, offer the unique ability to evaluate a sales agent's performance and presentation skills. You get to see their body language, you get to see how they interact with prospects. And additionally, we also have the ability to give them specific objections that you may want used for communities, such as community may have low performing schools in the area, or there's a busy road, and you want to see how your sales agents respond to that. Once the shop is finished, we grade them on several criteria such as qualifying, builder story, closing, and follow-up to see what they're doing well and to see where they could use some improvement. And for sales managers, shops are a valuable tool to improve the performance of their sales team and boost sales. And for sales agents, they get to see how they're doing and to improve as well. Once shops are complete, it's critical to review the results with your team and provide ongoing coaching and training to drive improvement. So a lot of production builders have in-house sales trainers. And as a sales manager, if you want to bring in someone, we have Leah Turner on our team that does one-on-one coaching and sales training following the shops and using the shop results. If you go to the next slide, please. Virtual shops. So builder virtual shops are a great opportunity to sell homes in this era of social distancing. During the early weeks of April, a national builder reported in Florida that they had over 650 virtual appointments and had over 60 sales where buyers never came to a sales office. So virtual tours are here and they're likely here to stay. And most virtual tours consist of a regular video of a property shot by an agent, a 3D video typically recorded with a special camera, or a live tour where the sales agent is walking through a home on a video call. Our shops of virtual tours offer sales agents the opportunity to go through full sales presentations and attempt to close prospects. And we are still grading them similar to how we do it on on-site shops. If you'll go to the last slide. So we've been doing virtual shops for a little over a month now. And some of the things that we've learned, and hopefully you can get value in this, is that you really need to make it easy for your prospects to schedule virtual or on-site appointments. So on the website, make it easy to go on a contact form. We have one builder that we work with where you can go ahead and say, I would like a 30-minute appointment, and it even lets you pick a day and a specific sales agent if you want to. And it's also very important to do an audit of your website and make sure that all the floor plans are updated, all the available homes, inventory, and community information is easily accessible. I was on a webinar yesterday where they talked about virtual staging. So now more than ever, it's probably a good idea to virtually stage your properties as well. Some of the things that we've learned are sales agents really need to be flexible and comfortable using a variety of virtual platforms. Many of our clients use everything from Zoom, FaceTime, Skype, Microsoft Teams. But as you probably imagine, there are people out there that have iPhones or don't have iPhones. So FaceTime would not be good for them. So you need to find alternatives. And so you need to train your sales team to be able to use all the different platforms and not only be able to use them themselves, but help some of their technologically people that just don't have the skills to help them there. Another thing that we're seeing is that on a live tour where the agent is walking around a community, oftentimes the cell quality will drop or it'll freeze. So I suggest that you really walk around your communities, have your sales agents walk around and make sure they can get strong signals throughout, and even use Wi-Fi extenders if needed to enhance the connection. Some things we're also seeing is, as I mentioned earlier, with one builder, you have the ability to select a 30-minute appointment. And oftentimes these appointments go over. Well, in this day and age, when a lot of us are on back-to-back calls all day, we really want to stay to that time frame. So do your best to get through your presentations in that time. Also, we are starting to see more on-site shops picking up. So oftentimes the virtual tour is a tool to lead into an on-site shop. And so when you're talking to your prospects about coming in, you should really know what the health and safety protocols are for your specific builder, and be able to share them. Say, we are going to do, stay 6 feet apart. You'll come, you'll wash your hands. these are the different safety protocols that will keep you safe, because today a lot of buyers are nervous about coming in. And just one funny story, I was watching a virtual call shop the other day, and about half of the call was just of the sales agent's ear, because he was on the cell phone and he was talking. I think it was a FaceTime call, but all you could see was the agent's ear. So keep that in mind. So thanks again for having me.
Wow.
Can I speak up, because I'm laughing my butt off at the ear thing, because that's hysterical. And I'm so glad that we brought up this whole idea of kind of pivoting to virtually shop the agents, because secret shops have been around for a very long time, and they're such a great educational tool. I remember a year or so ago having a discussion with a sales manager, a VP of sales and marketing for a big builder. And they were saying, well, we don't shop our agents because that makes us feel like we don't makes them think we don't trust them. But really, that is not what a mystery shop is about. It's not about not trusting your agents. It's about fine-tuning skills. And we can always use that. We always need to fine-tune our skills, and especially in a situation where a pandemic comes in and we're changing the way we do it. So the fact that Melinda Brody and company is pivoting and offering these virtual shops, mystery shops, is such a great resource, I believe, for the building industry, because I don't think that these virtual shops are going to go away. And while people may be very aware of the fact that there have always been these live shops on sites, and now they're learning about these virtual shops, in the online sales world, we have always done online sales shops as well, of online sales counselors. So I'm excited because I'm partnering with Ben and Melinda Brody and company to really kind of push out that idea of shopping your online sales counselors, because we need to know, are they able to handle this new volume that they're getting? Are they able? What sort of tools do we need to provide for them? Do we need to create a new team member for them? So doing these shops are important, and the difference between a virtual shop and an in-person shop to an online sales counselor shop, even, they're drastically different, because an online sales counselor shop actually takes 30 plus days, because we're shopping as if we're a prospect coming in and looking at all the follow-up and all the touch points and all of those things. So Ben, I'm really excited that we're going to kind of start offering this.
Yeah, I am too.
And I think it's going to be so much more impactful now as more and more builders. And you can utilize this just to look at your virtual sales process, even without an online sales counselor, so that you can follow what happens when someone comes to your website, fills out a form, or inquires in some way, shape, or form. And that will also help you do a litmus test of whether or not you think you need an online sales counselor. So between the virtual shops, the in-person shops, the OSC type shops, these are all more tools for education, which I think we're all about here, is education. So.
Well, and it's about creating that good customer experience. And if you are generating leads are expensive. Let's all acknowledge that leads are really expensive. And you're not shopping to find out what's happening from lead to appointment. If your on-site salespeople are just waiting on people to walk through the door, well, they're probably starving right now, because that's not happening. So, we know even before COVID that if you had an appointment with somebody, you were 50% more likely to get a sale out of it. That's where I encourage mine to have those 5 sales or 5 appointments every week for first appointments, because if you do that, and so you need to know what's happening to all these leads we're generating. If people are inquiring, are our online and our on-site salespeople able to convert those to those appointments? Because that's a key metric there. That's just so important. Questions that you guys have? We're going to move into our final thoughts and our open forum. Carol, what final thoughts for our roundup to get us kicked off here?
I guess my final thoughts are just, develop a program. Again, it should be marketing with intent. not just something that happens haphazardly. So figure out what those messages are that you're going to share with the realtors who are important to you, and share them on a regular and ongoing basis, whether that's CE classes or a year-long program or a series of blog posts, or maybe you're still hosting agent luncheons. I don't know that anyone's doing those right now with COVID going on, but you could do some creative things where maybe they dropped by and picked up a box lunch and toured the model, and you set different times aside for different groups to go through 6 feet apart. I think there's some creative things we can do there, but make sure that you're marketing to them with the same intent that you market to your consumers.
Oh, I agree. Ben, you have a question here from Jan. She asked about your example, 600 virtual appointments and 60 conversions. Was that the ratio there?
Right, and it was just from a couple weeks of operating in Florida.
Wow, that's awesome. So, and Miriam asked, what advice do we have for builders without a model home, or I'm not going to use that word because my name is not Horton and I don't hear a who. So I'm going to call it a quick move in, Miriam. But understand what they can do without having a home to show. Showing homes, the best, you've got to get virtual tools. That's the key. You need now to have virtual tools. You need to have 3D renderings of your homes. You can have artificial intelligence renderings that look like they actually exist, so that you can help a buyer and a realtor to visualize. And you can take those tools to the buyers and to the realtors and get those out there. That was one of the things that, one of the things that I spoke on at IBS this past year. And I know Kevin's on, he's probably going to have something to say about that with the 3D tools that they have at Outhouse for sure. So I don't know if anybody else is on that has used those, but taking your sales tools to those people is really, really important. You need your realtors, are my final thoughts. I mean, you've got to have them. Sometimes it seems like we're working, like this, and that just shouldn't be the case. If we spend the time to build the relationships, because we are in a relationship business, it can be such a win-win for everybody. So make sure that you are investing and again, planning out what those realtor relationships are going to be like. And you will start to see real rewards off of it. I know I'm sitting in a market here in Tampa where we run about 70-75% realtor co-broke. And not all of you may be in that type of market, but any outside realtor sales can be a big win for you. Leah, final thoughts from you?
Yeah, so my final thoughts are just what you're saying. It's all about relationship and education, and demystifying the builder relationship for agents, making them feel comfortable, making this be something they want to engage with, and stop worrying about whether they're stealing your leads or something like that. Every builder should, in good times and bad, be embracing those real estate relationships. For every one bad realtor that's maybe sitting out there trying to sign up your people as they're walking in the door, that's not really happen all that often, I don't think. And I think that it's important to honor all the other ones that are doing this the right way, and by creating education programs and VIP programs and things, they're going to want to bring their buyers to you, not steal a builder's buyers that are already there, and I think that's mythology. We need to get rid of that thought process and really just kind of embrace our agent relationships in good times and bad. And also final thoughts on education, that what Ben kind of brought to us is really important, and we need to think about that for all the builders on this call, to continually educate in all the different ways that we can, which includes incorporating these mystery shops to help us continue to grow our teams.
So thank you very much. And I did put all of our contact information back up on the screen. So feel free to reach out to any of us. We're here to help you. Things are different now, but that doesn't mean they have to be bad things. And in fact, we're seeing a lot of good things. I think a lot of good is going to come out of all the innovation that we're being forced to undertake. It may be painful at the time, but even as we reopen, try to continue to embrace the things that are working for you. So Carol, anything else you want to add here? Your mic's not on.
I'm trying to remember. I actually had a thought earlier, and now, of course, it has completely escaped me. I was saying hi to Carol Jones that I called Jonesy when you called and asked me what my final thought was. But
Oh.
I mean, I think we've covered a lot of stuff, and you know, having a plan is just, you know, first and foremost. Oh, I know what my thought was when you were saying virtual, you know, tours are a must. I completely agree with that. But if you don't have a virtual tour and you have a video of that home or model, you could send that to them as well. I see a lot of people using videos instead of virtual tours, and I think it's a good tool as well. And we forget about that. And sometimes those are easier to get than the virtual tours. So, you know, whatever you can do to make it move.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe out there, and thanks for joining us again. We love providing these for you, and let us know what you want to hear more of, or how we can help you. Bye, everybody.
Have a great weekend.